So about 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with fibro and a bunch of other stuff. And at the time, the doctor had suggested that, he could prescribe physical therapy. Well, I'm not very keen on the idea of strangers, pushing me into stretches and things like that. So, I said, at the time, no, I'm good. Well, 2-3 years later, I'd been fighting the flares, the ups, the downs, all that good stuff. And it was at the end of a particularly bad spell and a long spell. And I'd remembered about the physical therapy thing. And so my brain got to thinking, what happens in physical therapy? Because I'd had a son who had done some for tendon issues in his foot. He needed to get stretched. And so my brain, I'm like, okay, they stretch. They have you do things that you can do at home. So I slowly started thinking, okay, so if everything's out of whack, what can I do to get it in whack? So I started stretching, and at first it started with something as simple, because I drank a lot of hot tea at the time, because being cold and all that stuff, which yeah, 2 jackets and all that stuff, and it's like 50 degrees. But I was drinking a lot of hot tea. So what I would do, since I didn't always drink it before it got cold, was I would reheat it quite often during the day, in between, drinking it all. And so I started just reaching my hands up over my head as high, and today's the first day I'm getting back into this because I haven't done it in ages, so I'm bringing you along for the ride. But I would just stand and reach, yeah, I gotta work on things, and stretch. And so I was doing that during the day. And then I got to where I would, just kind of like straight bend over the counter to stretch my back, because the back is one of my issues, back and hip and things. And then it led to me thinking, okay, what do chiropractors do? They realign you. Wow, why can't I do that myself? So I put my feet against a wall, laid on a hard floor, and just felt how out of whack I was. So I started just kind of stretching and things. Then it turned into, at night before I would go to sleep, I would lay in bed, put my headphones, my MP3 player, yeah, I'm old school, and just lay in bed and start stretching. And over the course of time, I learned to listen to my body, because as I would stretch, my body would know when it's like you can when I hit certain spots, it affects other spots. Hands, feet are very important. I've realized, and my back, getting that, I crack. When I first got sick, before I was diagnosed, every bone in my body would crack. I mean, it was just, I'd walk and go, blah, blah, blah. So now that's how it is now with my back. But anyway, I digress. So as I learned to listen to my body and just flow, and I go into contortions, and it sounds really weird, and I'm going to be bringing you along for a lot of this ride because I want to share it, because it helps me immensely. I mean, when I do this, I call it my passive physical therapy. When I do this every night, religiously, and it doesn't have to be a big thing, because some nights, but I would stretch a little bit, and usually that stretch would turn into however long, and then my body knows when I'm done, and I would, be really relaxed to fall asleep. And it helped with the sleeping as much as anything helps with my sleeping, but it helped with the pain and all that good stuff. And I'm positive, hypermobile, all that good stuff. So my thinking is, because I am so stretchy, that since in a normal life we don't use a lot of our body, and so my thinking is, especially since I am stretchy, I need to do the stretchy. I need to get it to to the point to where, oh, that's good. So this, you can also, this is really good. I just didn't want to start off doing this because I would. But using your hands and get in there, like in there, and just push. Anyway, so that is what I'm doing. So I highly recommend, you know, I think I've done that enough for because whenever you get time, you know, if you're sitting there with nothing in your hands, or put the phones down and just stretch them. I mean, it sounds minor. It sounds like it doesn't make a difference. And, you know, most of the time it makes a pretty good difference. At first, it's felt, you know, just feel lighter. But over time, it makes a difference. So, this is why I don't do that, because all of a sudden I went in 10 different directions. Thank you, brain. But so usually when I get into the stretching at night before bed, it can go like an hour to an hour and a half. And I know it sounds unreal. But it feels so much better. So I call it passive physical therapy. And it's also strength training, because the way I stretch, a lot of times, like say if I'm in bed, I'm putting my legs up. So that is strengthening my core, it's strengthening my muscles. So I basically do home physical therapy every day when I'm being good to myself. When I'm not being good to myself, I have a tendency to not do it, and then I feel worse, and then you know how the cycle goes. So today is day 1. I've been working back into it and being better, but today is day 1 that I'm going to start sharing. A lot of the times I do. I need to get a drink. I'm not used to talking. And if you're still here, thank you. Anywho, but it can be done anywhere. A lot of times I'll sit on the edge of the bed and I'll take tennis balls, and if I put 2 tennis balls under my feet, which right now I'm barefoot on the ground, trying to get back into the grounding. So I'm going to be making a point to sit with my feet on the dirt, on the grass every day. And I am desperate for sun. I used to be a sun bunny. I know it's bad, supposedly, but I have not been sun, and I mean, I haven't been taking care of myself. So this is also part of what I'm going to be documenting, is me taking better care of myself and the weird things I do to do that. And this is one of the weird things. But I'm grounded, I got my sun. But if you put tennis balls under your feet, what's amazing about tennis balls is you can control the pressure. You know how when you, like if you're getting a massage or something, and then they hit that good spot and you don't want them to quit, or you wish they go a little hard, you know, harder or softer. With the tennis balls, you can control. Sometimes my feet hurt so bad. As soon as I put my feet on them, I cringe. Other times I can push on the, you know, and just really, but it's all up to how I'm, you know, how my body and my nerves and everything's doing that day. So highly recommend tennis ball. You can also use it in your hands if you use it to help push. But something as simple as just this. My hands feel so much better. Just something that simple. Wow. All right. And every time I do this, and I don't do it for a while, and then I start back up, as soon as I start doing it, it's like, why did I quit? I feel so much better. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow along if this might be something that, you know, may help you, or if you just want to see how much it helps me over the long run. But thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.